Hey, so just the other day, I did a Zoom with a handful of agents where we walk through exactly how I would create Facebook ads. This is August 2021. So, how would I do Facebook ads for lead generation in real estate today? A few things to note about it. Number one, I'm using KW Command for this. If you don't have access to Command, you can do this through the Facebook Ads Manager. You'll have to kind of figure a couple things out, but Command makes it super simple. Second, these are very top of funnel leads. I will get people all the time that say, oh, Facebook leads are garbage because they're very low quality, blah, blah, blah. Yes, they're lower quality because you're trying to take someone's attention away from cat videos and direct it toward real estate. These aren't people searching where are the best homes in Medford, Oregon, right? They're not. The intent is a lot lower at first, and then over time we're going to convert those. But you can get a good handful of those at the beginning. Those hot leads, expect about 1 in 100. That's on the low end. It's really probably closer to about 3 in 100. So we're going to cast a big wide net and try to capture as many as possible in one ad. And then three, this is trial and error. This is how I do it. A lot of people do it different ways. This is just a way that I found, again, to catch the most leads in a net at the top of the funnel. Then later we'll work on retargeting. We'll do long-term follow-up. There's all sorts of different things to increase that conversion rate from the kind of 1 to 3% that a lot of people expect from Facebook ads. But again, it's trial and error. We're talking about, in this case, it's a $50 ad over 5 days. It's $10 a day, 5 days. So $50. It's not that much lost out of your pocket. I'm also in a very high price point market in the San Francisco Bay Area. So if you're out in middle America somewhere, maybe you could get away with even less. But copy this one, give it a try, see how it goes. Let me know if you end up with questions, and let me know what your results are, because I will be doing a follow-up video to this one because the results are a little bit different than I've normally seen, and I can highlight why in that follow-up video. So as always, shoot me any questions, give me a follow, and I'll see you soon. So what we're going to do today is I'm going to walk through exactly how I'll create Facebook ads. And to kind of put my money where my mouth is I'm doing it exactly for a Facebook ad that I need to run for this week for another agent. He has a listing that I thought will actually do pretty good on ads. And so I asked him if I can run ads. He said yes. So that's what we're going to do. But let me pull up. This is my super cheap way of being able to take some notes, or kind of instead of running PowerPoint. So some quick notes about what this is going to be. It's all going to be based in KW Command. If for some reason you don't want to use KW Command or can't use KW Command, you could replicate most of this just using the Facebook Ads Manager, but you'll see how Command is going to make it a lot simpler. But some notes that people always kind of miss going into this is so we're running ads, meaning that we're putting money behind Facebook posts, essentially, for Facebook to take that post and get it in front of more people. The more people that see it, the more likely they are to click on it. And then I'm going to show you exactly how we're going to set it up so that it'll create a lead generation form for you. And in order to do that, you have to use a Facebook page, a Facebook business page, not your personal profile. It has to be a business page. So you'll just set that up in the settings up here. I'll walk through that real quick. And then with Facebook ads, this is definitely, a very top of funnel thing. What we're trying to do is, as people are scrolling through Facebook, we're trying to catch their attention, essentially, and that you're trying to catch their attention and distract them from being on Facebook. It's not like they're on Google typing in, homes to buy in Fremont, right? So these are going to be very top of funnel, which means you can kind of expect a 1 to 3% conversion rate, meaning that for every 100 leads that you bring in, you can expect one closed sale in about the next 30 to 60 days, like kind of those hot A-list clients. At least one. There's probably closer to 2 or 3 in there, but I like to always kind of plan for the lesser, and you'll get more out of it. So, and then we're also going to be running just listed ads. This is a question that comes up a lot about what ads should I run? Should I do an open house? How do I get sellers? All these different things. And I try to scale it way back and just get people to understand, just run these just listed ads, right? When a house is listed for sale and it's fresh on the market, we know that buyers or really just people in general are kind of real estate voyeuristic. Otherwise, HGTV wouldn't exist at all, right? The House Hunters or Million Dollar Listing, all those different types of shows wouldn't exist if people didn't want to just see pretty houses on the inside. Kind of like when we host an open house and someone comes in and they say, "Oh, I'm just a looky loo," or "I'm just a nosy neighbor." It's like, okay, great. So we're going to go find those looky loos and nosy neighbors on the internet. It kind of works out the same way. And then, yes, these are going to be mostly buyer oriented ads, and people are always looking for sellers. Well, Commissions Inc., who does, I forget how many millions in ad spend a year, something like 30 million or 15 million, somewhere in there of ad spend a year. They've seen so far in 2021 that 1 in 3 buyers actually needs to sell their home in order to buy. Right. So that means you need to be talking to these leads and asking them if they have a home to sell before they buy. You'll actually find that as we go digging through these leads, you'll actually find the sellers in there, even though these are a little bit more buyer oriented, because we're saying, hey, here's a new home for sale. That's obviously a little bit more oriented toward buyers. So what we're going to do is I'm going to walk through a couple basics real quick. That's only going to be like a minute or two long, or a couple minutes long. So if you're watching the recording in the future, you can kind of skip ahead into the actual creation of it. But I want to show people how to set this up in Command. So when you come in here, the first thing you need to do is connect your business page. So your business Facebook page. So you come into the settings here. And then I'm doing this all live. Like this isn't, I don't have this part kind of pre-recorded, so we'll see if the system plays friendly today. The two settings you really want to set up though are here, the Facebook post scheduling. This isn't necessarily about ads, but if you're doing your Facebook setup anyways, you might as well set that up. And then you want to set up your Facebook ads manager from your business account. And that's going to basically this is going to pass through the all the data that we collect in Command. It's passing it back and forth with Facebook since they're a business partner with us. So that's the first thing you're going to do is set up your ads manager connection in here. Then you also need to come into, we're going to scroll down actually. Find the command email. Since I already have it set up, it's toward the bottom, but you want to find the command email option and hit manage. You're going to set this up right here. You want your sender name and the reply to email, because we're even going to go as far as having smart plans automatically assigned to these ads so that when a lead clicks on it, they're going to start getting contacts from us right away, because we know that speed to lead is important. So you're going to want to set this up so it's coming straight from Command with the appropriate information on it. And then next, we're going to go into the connect settings on the left, click on your marketing profile. And you want to make sure that this is set up and accurate, because when those emails go out or a few different pieces of marketing that we have in Command, it all pulls out of this in here. So you want to make sure all of this information is up to date and accurate. You don't have to have this set up in order to do this, but setting up your Facebook pixel is a very handy thing to do right about now, since you're probably also in the Facebook ads manager. All right, so the next thing that we need to set up before we even get to the ads itself is we're going to go in and we're going to set up a smart plan. So the smart plan is going to be set up in such a way that when they register on the lead, or when they register as a lead, they're going to automatically start getting some contact from us. And so that way, we know that when people register for a Facebook ad or just any online lead, you typically have 4 to 5 minutes to catch their attention. Otherwise, they go a little cold and it's harder to get a hold of them again. So what we're going to do is set something up so that it's going to send out a text and an email right away. Then we know if they reply to that right away, then we know that they're at least someone to talk to right then. I might want to drop what I'm doing and go interact with them. So what we're going to do is go into the smart plans. On your side, go into the library. And then if you do a search, you can actually just search my name at this point and it'll come up. Type in Jason Flynn, change this to author. And then it's this one right here. I stole it from Tyler Shields, I think at Mega Camp last year. He talked about this, but it's this Tyler Shields Facebook leads with no calls, right? This one, I have this one set up. It's just going to send them texts and emails. There's no reminders for me to make phone calls. You can see all the different steps here. But what you're going to do is you're going to say add smart plan. It's going to move it out of the library into your smart plans. And this is a very, very critical piece that people miss. And I know they miss it because I end up getting some phone calls and emails off their leads sometimes. But go back into my smart plans, scroll down, find the one that you just added, come over here and click edit. Because what you're going to want to do is the way it's programmed right away when you do this is like on this one, this is fine. It says, hi, contact name. This is, it'll fill in your name out of the marketing profile there in that text that's going to go out right away. From Keller Williams Realty, saw you were checking, blah, blah, blah. But the problem is when the emails go out, it looks like this, but my signature is built into those automatically. These aren't dynamic signatures. So I've actually had people not edit this and I start getting replies from the emails because it says a reply to right here. So hot leads are replying and I'm getting them, not the agent that set it up, and I have no way to find them. So anyways, you want to go through here. You want to update these, click save, and just name it something that you can remember, or you could even just leave the name on there for Tyler Shields Facebook leads, just something you can remember, have that programmed in there. And then other than that, then, oh, the last thing you want to do, it's kind of hard to show on here. You want to go download the Kelly app. So K-E-L-L-E, if you're a KW agent and you have that access to it, you want to set that up because that's going to actually send you notifications of when the leads come in. You also get notified here on the bell icon, you'll get notified there. But the Kelly app is what you'll actually have it pop up on your phone saying, hey, a new lead came in. So you can act on them quickly, like we said, within that first 4 to 5 minutes is the best strategy. Oh, one quick note about that smart plan that I meant to mention, that's 8 days long. So not quite every day they'll get a text. They'll also get emails. It's kind of a mix to just go over those first 8 days of kind of like poke, see if they're interested. And if not, then it just stops. Then it's up to you to kind of add it to whatever plan you want to go to after that. But just that's what that smart plan is designed to do, is just kind of poke at them for a few days so you don't have to worry about it as much. But when the lead comes in, if you call them right away, you'll increase your chances of that 1 to 3% ending up on the 3% side versus the 1. So let's see. All right, so from there, we're just going to go straight into doing the Facebook ad. And like I said, I'm actually going to be creating one right now of one that I'm going to hit submit and run. Hopefully this works and hopefully there's no errors on this as we go. So I'm going to jump down into the campaigns tab, or the campaigns applet in command. And then this part that kind of gets people messed up sometimes, difference between paid ads and social posts. Social posts are the ones that actually show up on your Facebook feed and don't have any money behind them. So only the people actually following your page will see that. But what we're going to do is create a paid ad. We're going to put some money behind it so Facebook will push it out farther. And then something else I should have mentioned actually at the beginning was, especially in our area, we're in the Bay Area with a higher price point. We're seeing about $3 per lead. You can see in here, these are ones that I've kind of recently run. I've got $2, $5 a lead, $2.50, $5, $3.85, $2. So kind of in that $2, $3, $4 a lead per ad that we're running. And then you can see I'm pulling in for each ad I'm running 26 leads, 22, 20, 10. So I said we need about 100 leads. So basically between these 4 ads right there, there's probably at least one hot client in there, spent a total of $100, $250. Well, that, you know, when we do the conversion rate on what our average commission is in the area, it works out pretty well for us. But again, we're going for, in this case, we're going for quantity over quality. We want to collect as many name, email, and phone numbers as we can. That's why we're putting some money behind it and doing a thing called a lead ad. And then basically the quality will be in the quantity that we actually collect and follow up with over time. So we're going to go up here. We're going to say create campaign. We're going to say it's a social ad. You want to make sure it's the paid version. This is if you're going to do Google ads. Right now, like really, you just have to know a lot more about Google in order to get a lot of success in here. Command makes the Facebook side so easy that this is really the one I'm telling people to focus on. And what we're going to do, we're going to call this, I'm going to call this Portola Drive, because that's where this property is. I'm going to say I'm attracting buyers, and I'm going to run it on Facebook. I know some people will also choose Instagram, or they'll only choose Instagram. Totally fine. Give it a try. A lot of this is going to end up being trial and error for you. I just have found the most success through doing it just through Facebook, but that's starting to shift a bit over the last few months. I've seen quite a few people getting them through Instagram. I'm just kind of naturally kind of lean more toward Facebook for ads. I spend more time on Instagram personally, but my ads I'm usually doing through Facebook, and I've done nothing with Twitter ads ever. So, but that might work in the Bay Area as a side note. Okay, so what's going to, if you've never been through these before, it'll pop up these little Gary bubbles explaining what to do, but we're going to skip that for now. So actually, I'll say yes. Okay, leave me alone. What we're going to do is there's all these segments in here, right? So name and goal, text, see these little bubbles here. That once they're all green, we're good to go and we can hit submit. So it's as easy as just kind of walking down the form. If you've ever built a Facebook ad in Facebook Ads Manager, it's kind of similar, but a lot more complicated. This makes it really easy. And one of the biggest advantages of doing it through here versus Facebook Ads Manager is being able to click this button right here. Miriam, I just saw your question in the chat. Is there an extra cost for Instagram ads? It's basically you're going to put a total ad spend together at the bottom here, and it'll split it up. You can tell it, I want this much to Facebook, this much to Instagram. So extra cost, no, but I mean, yes and no. It's really just you're putting in however much money. And then you said, can you increase from 8 days? Yes, you can do a whole list of things. I'll kind of show you when we get there. But as I was saying, this is one of the biggest advantages of this is it's actually linked to all the MLSs in the country. So we can just say add listing. What I'm going to do, I'm going to search for, this is a trap people always fall for, change this from only my listings to all listings. And then we're searching for 4520 Portola Drive. And so what I've done is I didn't have a listing I don't have my own listing that I want to run an ad on. And so I know Jason Pham, I reached out to him. I love the look of this listing. I love the price point for our market. It's new on the market, so it's something I want to run a Facebook ad on. I just reached out to him, asked if I could. He said, sure. I'll show you how. I'm going to give him credit in the ad itself because I don't want it to look like I'm claiming this as my listing. But we're going to run with this one here and just say select. What it's going to do is it's going to pull all the information from the MLS and start plugging it in. It's going to give us access to all the photos, and then it's going to kind of streamline a few things for us as we move down the line. Now, this is something that, I mean, maybe it's overthinking it, but I don't think it is you'll see agents do this all the time. They'll run a Facebook ad with the main copy here just being a description out of the MLS. And like, this is actually a pretty short one, but sometimes you'll see it where it's a huge chunk of text. I mean, me personally, I scroll right by them. Like, I won't read a giant block of text. That front photo better be so good. Otherwise I'm not touching the ad. I'm going right by it. But what we're going to do is we're going to break this up a bit. And so I'm going to delete this entirely. And what we're going to do is we're going to put 2 or 3 lines of information here using emojis. It'll make it stand out a little bit, having those little images in there. And then the other trick is you don't want to give too much information, because if we give all the information right here, like if we say it's 3 beds, 2 baths, it's this much money, and here's the address, they have no incentive. As soon as they click on the ad and it says, oh, enter your name, email, and phone number, they'll have no incentive for that. They'll just close the app. They'll go to Zillow if they're really interested, and they're going to bypass it. So what we're going to do instead is we're going to give basically some teaser information, and kind of like throwing a fishing line out there, just going to tease them a little bit. And then once they click on it, say, oh, this house looks good, this is information I like, they click go, or they click on this learn more right here. When they click on that learn more, before it gives them all the information, it's going to pop up a little window and say, oh, please enter your name, email, or phone number. And if they click cancel, it just takes them back to Facebook. If they click submit, it'll take them to the information they're looking for. So that way you can kind of weed out who's kind of just doing nothing and who at least has some interest in this whatsoever. Kind of using the open house analogy again, it's the difference between seeing an open house sign and just driving by versus seeing an open house sign and saying, you know what, I at least want to go in and look. They may not have the intent to buy that open house, but there was something that made them want to come in. We're kind of looking for the same thing. So a little cheat here that people don't always realize, if you're looking for emojis to use, just pop in a colon right here. It brings up a whole list of them. So what I'm going to do, I type in alert because I want this one here. Just hit enter. There you go. And say new listing alert. I just want something that kind of grabs their eyes, right? Something that kind of stands out. And so when you use that colon, you can type in any word. Like if we type in dog, it'll bring up all the different dog ones. So there's a hot dog. That'd be kind of fun to use. But yeah, it's just a little cheat. You don't have to use copy paste from other websites or anything. And I just start plugging in some information. I always kind of here, I use the one of the house. And what I'm going to actually do, I'm going to pull up his listing off of my KW website, because this is where I'm going to send them eventually anyways. So we're going to go 4520 Portola, because I need some information from the listing. So here it is here. I need some of this information, but again, not all of it. And so I kind of like this. First time on the market since 1954. It makes it seem like, oh, this is obviously someone liked to live there at one point, right? So we're going to say close proximity to transportation, which is awesome, or Fremont Hub, which if you're not around here, it's a big shopping center. Dual pane windows, perfect place to make it your home. So I'm kind of looking through here if there's anything quiet neighborhood of Cabrillo. So there's all sorts of details I can kind of pull out of here to put into the ad. So what we're going to do is, let's see, let's do quiet neighborhood near transportation. That's what we're going to say. So we're going to say neighborhood central to transportation. Actually, I don't love that. Hold on. You know what? I'm changing it to, I like the first time on the market. First time on the market since, what was that? 1954. And it just kind of, it's something that makes it stand out. I'm going to change this to a bed. And this is information I decided I'm going to give them. We're going to say it's 3 bedrooms. I'm going to change this one to a bathroom, 2 bathrooms. I need to double check that. Let's see. Where is, hold on. Oh my goodness, why can't I find it? Oh, duh, it's way up here. Here we go. 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, 1,300 square feet. I'm going to leave that out because it's a little smaller. I don't want someone to say, oh, it's not 2,000 square feet and ignore it. I'm just going to say 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms. And then that's probably, actually, let's do this. Let's call this one train. And do this since it's close to BART. And then down here is where I'm going to say listed by Jason Pham, Tarot Real Estate. So I don't want it to look like I'm trying to claim this as my listing. I want to give him credit where I can. Real estate services. So I don't want to make it look like it's mine. And then this way too, if you're ever wanting to reach out to another agent and use their thing, basically you're saying it's like doing a virtual open house, right? Like I'll give you credit for it. Let's just get your listing out there and let me help you find a buyer. I've had 1 or 2 agents ever kind of tell me no. Most of them don't care if I'm going to put my marketing money behind it for them to get theirs out there. Let's see. So this is what it starts to kind of come together. You see this disappear here. the listed by Jason Pham part. That's because in this is just a preview, but there would be a more button. It's called the break. You kind of just can't avoid that. It only shows so many characters, and you only had 250 characters to work with. That's because they don't want you just putting giant chunks of text, right? This is Facebook actually controlling you to the point of just saying, like, not letting you do something that they think won't work, because they want your ad to be successful, because if your ad is successful, you will come back and run more ads. So they're kind of controlling you a little bit in a good way. Okay, so we're just going to go with this. Actually, I'm going to come down. So this main copy is this part here. Quick side note, this will change. It'll have your information. It won't say Keller Williams. But the main copy is here. The headlines are here. And then the description, you can see, is here below there. So I'm going to just put in here, you only have 25 characters. I am going to say it's in Fremont, because this ad is going to go, essentially, you can go 15 miles plus out of the area. I want people to at least know it's in Fremont, because if people are seeing the ad in San Jose and they need to live in San Jose, I don't want them like saying, oh, I want to buy this house, or I'm very interested in this house, when you call them, they're like, oh, I didn't realize it's in Fremont. You know, when I don't want to go work the San Jose market, if that makes sense. So I'm fine with saying Fremont. I'm fine with, this is almost too much information, but the two key pieces of information I haven't given are the price or the address, right? And those are ones that people really want to know. You can kind of figure out through the photos how many bedrooms or bathrooms something is. So I'm not too worried about that, but even I don't always give this information. So in the description, though, what we want to do here is we want to give them a clear, compelling call to action, meaning we want to tell them specifically, them being the potential lead scrolling through Facebook, we want to tell them exactly what to do. So we're going to say, click learn more. And we're saying learn more because the button literally says learn more. Click learn more for one. I want to see how many photos. I don't think it's actually going to tell me. 30 photos. So I'm going to close that and come back here for 30 photos, price, and address. Because another little trap I'll see agents run in their Facebook ads is they will put as many photos as possible. You don't want to do that. Again, you're kind of giving away the farm there. If you're saying, hey, here's all the photos, here's all the information, they have no reason to give you their personal information for more. So as we kind of look at this, notice how light and simple it is. It's not big blocks of text. I think this is looking good. So I'm going to go ahead and hit save, and it's going to go ahead and clean that up. Cool. So now we're going to go into media, and the way this ad runs right now is just one photo, but Facebook knows they actually see the highest engagement in ads on what they call carousel posts, where you go through and you can flip through a few different images. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into media, and we're going to add, I'm going to add 3 more photos. So we have a total of 4 photos in a carousel. So what I want is a picture of the front of the house. I haven't looked at this listing, so we'll see what happens. But I want a picture of the front of the house. I want a picture of the kitchen, the living room, and the backyard. Those are kind of, once you get those, or if there's something else, like if a bedroom looks really good or something, we might put that in there. But that's kind of the key things people are looking for in a house. So what we're going to do, we're going to come in here. It's going to pull them all out of the MLS for us. They are a little squished. They're not when we pull them over. But so I'm actually going to replace this front photo. I like this one the most, this angled one. So I'm going to grab this one first. There it goes. Say preview and crop. We want them in squares. So we want them in squares just because that's the way Facebook is going to format it anyways when you're doing the carousel posts. So we want it in a square. I think it lines up. This looks good to me. And hit save. Then I'm actually going to go back. I'm going to remove this one. Delete image. Okay. So I have this one as the first one. I think that looks a lot better. So then we're going to add more. We're going to come down to, actually really like this living room one. Actually looks really good. Sometimes you have to click twice. There we go. And it's going to scale it down for us. Ooh, this one's going to be a little tough in a square. I think that'll work. Don't overthink them either. If it looks good, that's all you're looking for, right? As long as it looks pretty good, and you can see it's going to make it so you can scroll through them. Because again, what you're trying to do is they're scrolling through looking at pictures of or videos of cats and pictures of their grandkids. You're trying to stop them, say, no, this looks good, and then grab their attention. So let's do a couple more. Let's look at the kitchen. So this kitchen is a little tough because it's not like the greatest kitchen ever, right? But we do want to show the kitchen. I always feel like, and this might just me, but I feel like if you don't add the kitchen, someone thinks something's wrong with the kitchen. So we're going to go with it. Again, I don't love it, but we're going to go with that kitchen. Sometimes you just can't help it. I will say this though, I won't run ads on listings that don't have professional photography. I think you're trying to grab attention, and using one where it's just kind of crappy iPhone photos or photos that are sideways or photos with people in them or garbage in the pictures, it's not gonna help you at all, and I won't run them. That being said, sometimes though, like if it's a fixer, you almost kind of want that because you're going to get a lot of leads out of it, because people are everyone's always looking for a deal. I'm gonna move that a little bit more. Okay, so I've got living room, I got the kitchen. Let's see if the backyard looks pretty good. Oh yeah, super cute backyard. So we've got two options. Let's go with this one first. Oh man, this actually is a really cute house. Like I think this one's going to do well because it's going to look obtainable by a lot of people. And then it's not like it. If you saw the price on here, it's $9.98. It's actually a good price for our area, like kind of considered not budget, but under $1 million is helpful. Uh-oh. Here we go. This is what I'm afraid of happening. Let's try this one again. Okay, if it for some reason ends up not being able to load this, I'm just gonna go with 3 photos. Okay, let's try. Yeah, it says retry in 10 minutes. I'm not waiting 10 minutes. I'm impatient. Okay, if this doesn't work, there we go. See, I like seeing the trees in there is really good. I like that. I'm gonna save image. Okay, so I've got my 4 images. They're all cropped square. This little DBA logo, you can see pops up down here. It's a legal thing. You're going to want to do it. There is a little tricky way you can override this, but don't. They made it so small, it's out of the way. I'm not too worried about it. But I feel like this is something someone might click on, so I'm going to go ahead and continue. Hit save. Cool. Now we get into the good stuff. So now the ad is set up, except for this part is going to change right now. We're going to go into Facebook settings. What it's going to do is, so like I have multiple multiple Facebook pages under my one account. So it pulls up all your different pages. I'm going to choose the one that I'm trying to run this ad under. Now you can see as soon as I change that, it flipped it over to Jason Flynn, Keller Williams Realty, right? So this is roughly what the ad's going to look like. It will look a little bit different than this. Let's see. You can see here, see how it changes. But so we're going to go with that. Now, this is, I swear, this is the one thing to pay attention to out of everything, or rather it's the one thing to not miss that people miss all the time. And every time someone says, I ran an ad, I spent $50 and I didn't get a single lead, it's because they checked this button, not this button. You want to check Facebook lead generation form. That's the thing that's going to make it so when you click on learn more, it pops up the lead generation form with their name, email, and phone number pre-filled out based off of the information Facebook already knows about them. So this is absolutely critical if you want leads. Otherwise, all you're doing is sending people to your website, which is fine. You're getting the listing out there in front of more people, but this is a way you're actually lead generating. Kind of similar, let's use that open house analogy again, kind of similar to if you're doing an open house, This is you don't have a sign-in sheet, and this is you have a sign-in sheet. You're letting people just wander through the house, take a look, and they leave, and everyone's happy. This is they actually sign up so you can follow up with them later to find out if they were a serious buyer or seller, right? So definitely, absolutely use this button right here. Okay. Now for website or URL, you could, if you choose a landing page, what you would do is you would go create a separate landing page through the consumer tab down here. But what we're going to do instead is we're just going to come back over to this search. I'm just going to grab this URL right here, right? Like this is just from my KW website. Since I had my marketing profile set up, just going to grab this URL here, go back to the campaign. Make sure you delete that first, otherwise it errors out. It's going to verify that it's a real website. There it goes, a little blue check mark. I'm good to go. Boom. So now they click learn more. It pops up the lead generation form. If they hit submit on the lead generation form, it takes them to this website here. This is different than if I sent them to like the Zillow link for it, there's no way for them to contact the listing agent, right? There's no, and if I'm the listing agent, I want them to contact me. Instead, they're going to go, that lead is going to go to whatever agent paid the most money to Zillow that month, essentially, or whatever agent was willing to pay Zillow that month. So we want them to come here. So when they scroll down, say, you know what? Yes, I actually really do like this. I really do like this house. I want to know more. Boom, ask your agent, right? Schedule tours. So, and then that's coming to me through the Kelly app alert, right? They're going straight into my, they're already in my database, because when they hit this learn more, the form popped up and they hit submit, it automatically adds them to my database for me. So that's why we're using that. What we're going to do, so it automatically pulled the location out of the listing since it's synced to the MLS and gave it a radius of 20 miles. Personally, I'm okay with that one right now. Don't overthink this one either. You will see people kind of go crazy in all these different things they want to do, because what they want to do, they want to come into custom settings. They want to mess with the radius. They want to add different interests. They want to say, well, I want it if people are interested in Zillow or home ownership, things like that. Again, I'm going for quantity over quality at this point, right? That won't always be the case, but right now I just want to cast a wide net. I want to get 25 to 30 leads, and I want to sift through those leads to see, who might be interested in buying a home, right? Or even better, buying a home, but they have to sell first. I'm not too worried about narrowing this down. More agents will actually, you'll end up finding more success if you're following up with these leads here. So we're just going to go ahead and hit save. Now, when I was in the Santa Cruz Market Center, if you went, it's a 20-mile radius. If I go 20 miles north, that's great. But if I go 20 miles south, that's in the water, right? Like that's just ocean, 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 ocean. So in that case, I would choose Scotts Valley, California, so that I get a better radius. So if in your market, if you think you get a better radius, then cool. Like go ahead and adjust that. Another one you might want to do in this Facebook setting part is sometimes you want to target a different area. So if I were in Sacramento and I have a home for sale, and I know a lot of buyers are moving from the Bay Area to Sacramento, then I'm going to maybe run two different ads, one in Sacramento and then one in the Bay Area. So here in Fremont, it's kind of funny. A lot of people are moving to Fremont from other places in the Bay Area, or sometimes from LA. So maybe you could try running one in LA. And again, it's kind of trial and error, see what happens. But we're just going to leave all this blank for now. I'm just going with 20 miles, hit save. Okay, now lead settings. This is where we're telling command what to do with the lead when it comes in. So first, I'm going to have it assign every lead that comes in when they click on the learn more and click submit. I want them to get a tag in my database just for tracking purposes. So I'm going to call this 4520 Portola. Actually, I'm going to put Facebook ad at the beginning. I'm going to put Facebook ad 4520 Portola, create new tag. I like that. Actually, I want it to stand out a little bit. So now every lead that comes in, they're automatically going to get that tag. One, it helps me, let's say that a lot of these aren't going to convert for over a year. If I want to go back and see how did I meet this person or how did I get their info, I want to know which Facebook. This tells me a lot right here. Facebook ad in 4520 Portola. Cool. If they register on multiple campaigns, which happens sometimes, it'll show me then, okay, they got this tag, they got another tag. Just gives you a lot of information. And then the other thing we're going to do is we're going to have it auto apply that smart plan. So I'm going to my Tyler Shields Facebook leads plan. And so it's going to, the lead comes in, it tags them with this tag. It's going to add them to that smart plan, which means within a couple minutes of them registering, they're going to get a text from my Twilio number. Side note, I didn't think about that. In the settings, you need to set up Twilio, the Twilio integration. That's how you're going to be sending out these texts. I don't want to go back and change it right now. Otherwise, we'll lose all this. But you need to add the Twilio integration in there as well for that smart plan to work. So we're going to hit save. Okay. Now we're almost done. Now we're going to go into duration and budget. So the way it's set up by default right now, this is going to do you nothing, right? If I ran this ad for 10 days and I'm spending $3 like per channel, but I know that, or per day per channel, and I know that I'm running about $3 on average, I'm going to get 1 lead a day. That's not doing me a lot of good. So as I keep saying, this is a trial and error kind of game. What I recommend at the beginning is do $10 a day for 5 days, right? It's $50. And in some markets, especially like in the Midwest, you might get completely overloaded with leads. You can hit pause and end the campaign. That's fine. But for the most part, it's just a target I like to set at the beginning when I'm trying things in a new market. And it allows enough money behind the Facebook ad to kind of get it going. And then it allows us to measure. Essentially, you don't want to put in too little, and at the same time, I'll have people say, well, if it's only $3 a lead, if I need 300 leads, can I just throw whatever, what's that, $900 at it? No, like you can actually oversaturate the ad as well. That's why I recommend $10 a day, minimum of 5 days. It's a minimum of 5 days because Facebook has to learn who's interacting with the ad, right? So in the first day when it starts running, you might get a couple leads. You might get a lot of leads, but if you only get 1 or 2 or maybe none, even in the first day, let it keep running for another day or two. Facebook will start to learn as people interact with the ad. Like when people are clicking on it, but they're not registering, Facebook notices that. They're like, wow, why did all these people click on it, but they didn't register? We need to find a different group of people. And it just starts serving out this ad to all these different people. So Facebook's learning as this goes, which is why I don't recommend for less than 3 days. So I always recommend $10 a day, 5 days. So what we're going to do, so today's the 19th. We can't start the ad the same day because there's an approval process. So we're going to say start on the 20th, and then that's day 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So August 25th, right? And it'll tell us that's 5 days. We're going to crank this up to 50. So I can do $10 a day, 5 days, $50 total. That's what I'm going with. So hit save. Now what typically happens, actually, so now I'm going to just kind of double check. I want to make sure. Yeah. Okay. I want to make sure that's in there. Okay. And then from there, I can hit save draft, which would be fine, but I'm going to go ahead, hit publish campaign. This is the part that always freaks me out. Here we go. I have my card information saved on there. Hopefully I haven't run an ad in a little while. Hopefully that was accurate. Play some Jeopardy music. What'll happen is right here, it'll say that it was successful if it's done. And if not, I'm a little worried how long it's taking. Oh, there it goes. Created successfully. Whew, that was a close one. So you can see it goes into pending review. It says starts tomorrow. It's usually Pacific time. It ends up being around 10 or 11 at night is when this gets approved and just starts running. If a lead registers outside of normal hours, I don't remember the specific hours, but if it's like before 8 a.m. or after 6 p.m., it won't get a text in the middle of the night. It won't send out that smart plan until the next day. So that's it. That's everything beginning to end of how I create a Facebook ad. It took 46 minutes. So easy peasy. one quick note, to find the leads, all you have to do is click right here and it'll take you to a list of the leads that you got from that ad. You can also, when you're in the contacts applet, you can filter it down, especially since we're auto applying those tags. You can find them through the contacts applet. And then the last thing that people end up asking about is how to know if they need to kill the ad. I have another video about that I can send out, but basically the way I kind of see it is I'm spending $50, right? I'm going to just let this one run most likely all 5 days, unless maybe I get to day 3 and I have no leads. Something might be wrong. I can come over here and I can say stop campaign. And then what it'll do is it'll pause the campaign until the time runs out, and then it'll give me a credit up here on the payments tab. It'll drop me a little credit in there. But I'm just going to let this run for a while. But in general, and this can be a whole class in itself, but in general, what I want to see is from this number to this number, I want to see about 10%. So like on this last ad here for 38th Street, you can see 4,700 impressions led to 460 people clicking it. Like that's fantastic. But I want to see another 10% here. And so I only saw 5% to get down to about, or even less than 5%, 26 leads. Now the ads were so cheap, it ended up working out. They were still $2 per lead, which is why I was letting it run. But you can see I even killed that ad early, and that's probably why I wasn't getting a lot of leads out of that. But you essentially want to see 1% is ideal from this number here to this number here. If I'm way outside those parameters, that's where sometimes I'll kill the ad. But like I said, for $50, I'm just going to let it run. I'm usually pretty happy with that because, like I said, we're always trying to learn. You know, we found out during the campaigns last year, the presidential campaigns, totally threw everything off. Everything was cheap in July, and then August, September, ads got really expensive. So anyways, are there any questions? I know Miriam had a couple questions I was answering as we went. Does anyone have any remaining questions?
I have a question, Jason.
Yeah, what do you got?
How
Yeah.
do you pay for this?
How do what?
How do you pay for the ad?
What you're going to do is under this payments tab, I don't want to pull it up again because it has my credit card info on it, but on that payments tab right there, you'll enter a credit card info, your credit card info on there. And what it's going to do, so like this $50, when this goes and gets reviewed, it's going to charge the full $50 on my card immediately. But then that way, that's where if I end an ad early, it'll give me a credit back for what wasn't spent. And so, and I think right now, actually, I think I have credits in there, so it won't bill me like the full $50 this time.
So where are we
William,
going
will
to be
you
able
be
to
able to find the recording? I'll get it out to you.
Okay.
It's actually, this one will be on YouTube, but I'll get it to you so you can share it with your teams. So cool. Anything else?
Are you going to send it in here? The link for this video?
No, not in here. No, because it has to go process. I'll send it through our channels. Like, so I'll get it to you. So cool. All right, guys.
Thank
Well,
you.
this was fun. You are welcome. So like I said, if obviously you know how to find me if you need anything. And I think what I'll probably do, I'm going to let this run the 5 days, and then I'll probably do a follow-up video with it to say, here's what I saw in my ad, here's how many leads we got, here's what we learned from it, and what I could have adjusted to get different results next time. So we'll do that. See, this runs through Tuesday, so I'll do that next Wednesday. So cool. All right, guys. Well, have a good rest of your day.